South Africa is mourning the loss of its First Lady of Song, Miriam Makeba, who died yesterday of a heart attack at the age of 76 after a concert in Italy. She had many millions of fans all over the world and was the first singer from South Africa to become a global star. But Miriam Makeba was more than a singer. Known to her fans as Mama Africa, during her 30 years in exile, she was a powerful messenger for her people, helping bring to world attention the evils of apartheid. Peter Biles looks back on her life.
Miriam Makeba was an African music legend with a worldwide reputation. South Africa's apartheid system forced her into exile in the 1960s, and she became renowned as both a musician and an activist. At home, her music was banned.
When I was much younger, my father loved music, he loved singing, and he loved listening to records. But every time I was puzzled as a young girl, when he listened to Miriam Makeba's music, he would shut the doors and close the curtains because her music was not allowed in South Africa. So I got so much interested, and when I started singing, I wanted to be like Miriam Makeba.
Nelson Mandela has said that Miriam Makeba was South Africa's First Lady of Song and richly deserved the title of Mama Africa. He said her haunting melodies gave voice to the pain of exile and dislocation, which she felt for 31 long years. She'd been a UN Goodwill Ambassador and cared passionately about the African continent.
We must not forget, but we must forgive. So I sing the songs of the old for the young ones to know where they came from and to know where they are. Because if they don't know that, they will never know where they are going, neither would I.
There'd been talk of retirement in recent years, but Miriam Makeba continued to delight her fans. Her passing is being mourned across Africa and beyond.
I think in her music she depicted her patriotism for her country and for the whole continent of Africa.
As I was growing up, I used to like her music. I feel pata pata. I hope someone else will be born to take her place.
It's sad, we've lost an icon in South Africa. Not only her family, but all of us. We've lost a mother of the nation.
Even at the age of 76, she was still performing. This was her last concert near Naples on Sunday night. As ever, Miriam Makeba was charismatic and her music inspiring. Few artists have earned as much respect from old and young alike. Peter Biles, BBC News, Johannesburg.
Well, joining us now to discuss the legacy of Miriam Makeba is South Africa's Deputy High Commissioner to Britain, Cyril Ndaba. Cyril Ndaba, so she was the first African star singer, really, to go global, but she's going to be so dreadfully mourned in her native South Africa.
Yes, Zena, there is an outpouring of grief, coming from the four corners of the world, people are mourning her loss. It's a sad day, for South Africa and for Africa, as well as, I mean, she had fans all over the world.
Now, you actually met her. What was she like as a person? You chatted to her?
It was a brief encounter. I was just visiting, one of her nieces, Paul. And she came across, as somebody who's very warm, very loving, very humble, She exuded, all these qualities.
And now, of course, we know she was more than a singer because she was a very powerful messenger. She addressed the United Nations a couple of times on the evils of apartheid when she was in exile. That was very important. That's a very important part of her legacy.
No, her music, also had a political message, that powerful voice, shook the very foundations of apartheid, to such an extent that they revoked her citizenship, as well as also prevented her from attending her mother's funeral, So it was that message, for which she enhanced the profile of South Africa in Africa, and also the profiles of South Africa in Africa to the rest of the world.
I mean, it was very sad. She was actually exiled and didn't go back to South Africa till about 1992.
Until about 1990. It's so sad. I mean, that shows, you know, the meanness of that brutal system called apartheid.
Now, she sang many songs, love songs, traditional South African songs in her native Xhosa, and lullabies and so on. But do you think it was the kind of political aspect of her songs, her message? I mean, she sang a song to free Nelson Mandela, for instance. Do you think that was the most important thing to her?
They were very powerful songs, you know, as they also gave hope, you know, not only to some of our people that were in exile at that time. Those were difficult times, you know, but it also gave hope, I mean, to the poor. You know, she sang music, I mean, to the young and old, that appealed to the young and old, black and white, as well as also, you know, the rich and poor.
She left a great,
rich
proud
legacy.
Heritage of songs, hasn't she?
A rich legacy.
And it was very fitting, in a way, do you think, that she should die after this heart attack when she's singing in Italy on behalf of an Italian journalist who's being pursued apparently by the mafia? I mean, she was singing there for a cause. That, in a sense, defines her life, do you think?
Yes, I mean, that's what music, I mean, her music, you know, I mean, it was very rich, you know, in messages, you know, to the poor, the indigent, you know, those that are suffering, you know, bringing hope to them and what have you. She gave all to mankind, you know, I mean, the resources, I mean, her time, including, I mean, her voice, I mean, which are so golden, you know.
Okay, Cyril Ndaba, thank you very much for talking to us. Thank you.